Okay, let's get on to The Voice. Shocker of a week, shocker of a fortnight actually for the government. I think their campaign's gone from bad to worse. And it's not just the published polls that are making it dangerous territory for the government, James. I think they've got a minister who's struggling to cut through, caught out constantly on the detail, not just her, but also the Prime Minister. I mean, I made the point the other night, he kept saying, and he did on the project, those on The Voice will be elected. Well, that's not right. Their own campaign website says they'll be selected, not elected. He says that the scope of The Voice will be very limited. Well, that's not right again. All the constitutional experts are saying you can't restrict it once it's in the Constitution. And then you've got all of these radical campaigners for yes. Their history out there on social media is coming back to bite them. You know, they want land grabs and reparations and treaties and all of that. And I think, James, that's where Australians are focusing in. They feel like they've been dudded up until now, don't they? And they're finding out a hell of a lot more about this voice, and what they're finding out, they don't like.
Yeah, and Australians should be concerned because, unfortunately, this is designed by radical Aboriginals. And that is why so many, just like you and I, Aboriginals out there don't support The Voice to Parliament because of the radicals that will simply take up these seats in the Parliament. I'm still struggling to work out whether Linda Burney is deliberately misleading the Australian voters or whether she's just completely incompetent. I think in some cases it's probably a bit of both. But one thing is for sure, it was discussed until the wee hours of one early morning where the minister representing the Minister for Indigenous People in the Senate admitted that there is no level of, well, basically there's no end to the scope in which The Voice will have a say on legislation that comes before the entire Parliament. And that not only goes for government bills, that goes for crossbench, that goes for the opposition as well. There will not be a piece of legislation that comes into the Parliament that The Voice will not have a say on.
Now that it's gone through the Parliament, of course, there's the job of the AEC to run the referendum. We don't know when it will be. I mean, everyone's saying a smart money sort of mid-October. The PM has said he'll announce it sometime in August. I think that's shifty in itself. But you've got some insights, James, about the AEC process for the pamphlet. What can you tell us?
Yeah. Well, we've only got a very short period of time, as you know, and I think the longer the campaign goes on, the more people will vote against The Voice. But 28 days is not a very long time for those on the yes side and those on the no to write their 2,000 words appealing to the Australian public. That'll then be printed by the Australian Electoral Commission, and every Australian household will receive them as voters 14 days out from the vote. So there's not much time, especially given we are expected to have that vote later in October.